My ex-fiancé and I called off our engagement and went on separate ways 2 years ago. Hi everyone, I'm Melody and I'm passionate about normalizing conversations on mental health. Today, we'll be talking about a topic that I've been having trouble processing and talking about for quite a long time, but I think I'm finally ready. Today, let's talk about the hardest parts of ending an engagement. Well, they probably apply to all breakups, but there's something about being engaged that makes it a lot more painful. The first is the would-haves. When you get engaged, you're essentially saying that you're going to marry the person. You're going to spend the rest of your life together. And the moment that the yes was said, promises were made and a future was envisioned. A home where you would invite your friends over for games and drinks every other week. Your annual trips to Europe, Korea, Japan. Your evening walks with your dogs. And of course, a big day when you declare your love and commitment to each other in front of all the people that you hold dear. But now you're all alone at home on a weekend, scrolling through Instagram and looking at pictures of your friends' apartments, wondering about all the would-haves. We would have been married by now. We would have been living together by now. We would have been checking things off our bucket list by now. But no, after all these years, I am back at square one. And it feels miserable. I remember spending hours and hours spiraling and feeling sorry for myself. But I've come to realize that these thoughts are not accurate. My therapist once said that as time passed after a breakup, we tend to only remember the good parts and forget about the reasons why we broke up in the first place. Yes, I missed out on the would-haves, but I also missed out on the potential heartbreaks which would have been so much worse if we decided to turn a blind eye on the problems and went ahead with the marriage. The would-haves are not just the cozy home, the romantic getaways, and the adorable puppies. The would-haves are also the breakdown in communication, the crippling anxiety, and the loneliness that I would have felt even while being in a marriage. When you finally see these things clearly, it gets a little easier to move on. The second is the decoupling process. When you've been together for some time, you would have grown close to their family, friends, or even pets. You might have had shared Spotify and Netflix accounts, half your wardrobe over at your partner's place. You might even have started preparing for the wedding, taking pre-wedding photos, booking the wedding venue, sending out invitations. And in the case of Singapore, where I'm from, if you're middle class and engaged, it's likely that you would have purchased a subsidized flat together so that you can move in when you're finally married. When you split up, you have to undo everything. You'll probably never see their family, friends, or pets anymore, even though you might have grown a certain level of emotional connection. At some point, someone might broach the topic of shared accounts and returning stuff. You'll have to cancel all your wedding plans. But personally, for me, the hardest part was having to cancel the house. It wasn't just an administrative nightmare that took us close to 2 years. It was also a hell of an emotional roller coaster. The down payment of the house was forfeited, and it wasn't easy coming to a consensus on how we would settle the finances. We had to visit a lawyer a couple of times to sign the papers. It almost felt like a mini divorce. And when everything was finally settled, all that was left to say was, so this is it, huh? Who would have thought that a simple yes would lead to so much financial and emotional pain? The third is believing in love again. Perhaps you're a guarded person, you don't open up so easily, but this person came along and convinced you to open up. They made you feel seen, heard, and understood. And when the yes was said, you decided to give your 100% without holding back. I mean, you're going to be family anyway, but then your heart gets broken and you have no one else to blame but yourself. Why did I trust so easily? Why did I give everything and now I have nothing left? Why did I not protect my own heart? And now, as you meet new people, you find yourself having trouble believing in love again. You're determined to not get hurt again, so maybe you hold yourself back, even though you've met someone that might just be right for you. You think, maybe I'll give 60% so that I still have 40% if anything goes south. You think, maybe I shouldn't be so vulnerable with my emotions in case it gets weaponized one day. Your emotional baggage creeps in. Everyone has their own baggage, but I've come to realize that projecting it into your relationships doesn't actually protect you. In fact, it often ends up hurting you. It causes you to suffer in silence and gives you undue anxiety. What I should take away from my failed engagement instead is to be meticulous about who I choose to be with, to be upfront about my boundaries and non-negotiables, and to understand that it's okay to give 100% because even if things don't work out, I know I'm going to be okay. The fourth is the constant questioning of yourself. Where did we go wrong? At what point did things start falling apart? Is there something wrong with me? People get engaged and then get married. That's a natural thing to do. You start to wonder if you have commitment issues, if you're destined to be alone. I think a bulk of my depressive episodes were triggered by these questions of self-doubt. But my therapist told me something really powerful that changed my perspective. She said, there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, I think what you did was really courageous and not many people would have done the same thing if they were in your shoes. When I look at it from that angle, I'm proud of myself for not caring about what people think, for not letting my decisions be driven by how much time and money I've spent on the house and wedding, for not staying in a relationship because I'm afraid of being alone or losing the person I thought I couldn't live without. Instead, I chose to prioritize my own mental well-being and happiness. I remember the weeks before and after the breakup. My mom noticed that I wasn't really smiling anymore and she asked me, "What will make you happy?" And I remember saying, "Nothing. Nothing will make me happy." And I'm sure it broke her heart. But Mom, I'm happy now. It took 2 years, but I'm happy now. If you'd like to find out more about whether it's time to break up or how to deal with low self-esteem, please do check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to journey with me, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you again.